Hey guys, welcome to us for the GEEKMANIA. That's the Ben.
And that's Mark.
And today we're going to do a Disney special. We were talking about the new Disney film Frozen and Saving Mr. Banks.
Disney special! So Mark, which Disney film shall we talk about first?
Let's talk about Saving Mr. Banks first.
Saving Mr. Banks. So, Saving Mr. Banks, the film about the Mary Poppins film.
Yes.
So yeah, do you want to say your thoughts first, or shall I go?
Yeah?
Yeah?
I thought it was a really good film. I thought, like, how a lot of films with these flashbacks, I think it doesn't really work. Like Man of Steel, I just thought it was a bit weird. But I thought in this one, they used the flashbacks really, really well, and it actually added more to the story. You kind of understood why Mrs. Travers was quite like what she is. Like, she's quite a stubborn, kind of a very, very stubborn woman. At some point, she'd be like, you're a bit of a bitch, stop being so bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can understand why. It's because, you know, when we mention it in the spoilers later on, why she's like
the best way to use flashbacks is for context. Always is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what you're saying?
No, basically.
Is that it? Just that?
And Tom Hanks is amazing, but there's
Yeah.
more I want to say, but it's more kind of spoilery, so...
Oh, okay, right,
yeah,
okay. So
and the acting is fantastic. Emma Thompson is amazing, as she usually is in most films. Tom Hanks is really good as Walt Disney, and I think everyone is just really good, and the way they're able to make you also as well feel for her and that kind of thing is really good. Like, at the beginning you kind of don't really like, but then near the end of the film you start to like Mrs. Travers more, and you can understand why, and that sort of thing, why she's like this, and why she wants to make the film as she wants to make it, basically, so...
Yeah, okay. Well, so, opening words for me. I love this film. And I don't mean that in the typical sense of like, oh, this film is great. Or, no, I was in love with this film. Like this film struck me on so many different levels emotionally that I was not expecting. I was a big fan as a kid of the Mary Poppins film. Huge fan. I loved it. It was great. It was whimsical. The music was great. It's magical. Like in a word, like that's exactly what Disney wants to do. He just wants to make magical films, and it was lovely. And like I hadn't seen Mary Poppins since I was a kid. Like I've not seen it yet to this day. Like since then.
I'm the same as you. Haven't seen it for years either.
No. So I was watching this film expecting. You know what, it's got a lot of good elements. I like what Disney are doing right now. It could be interesting. I've got free time. Why not? I'll go see it. And my word, I was in love. This film was beautiful. And not just on the level of it being like an interesting piece into delving behind the mechanics of a creator and someone who is obsessed with their character and how that's being ripped away from them in their eyes and being crafted into this shiny, sparkly fairy is not what they want. They want it gritty and down to earth, and like it's part of them. It's a part of them, and they don't want someone else taking it and changing it into a part of something else that's not them. And it, like, as someone who aspires to create things and create characters like that, I feel a lot of those things. Like, as someone who wants to make films and wants to make interesting characters, like. I can imagine what it would be like if someone else took those characters from me and changed them into something I don't want them to be. I have very set ideas on what I want my characters to be and what they are about and where they are from and what they do and what their favourite colour is, and their toothbrush is purple, damn it. But no. And this felt a lot like that, and just, it's a beautiful film about a beautiful film.
Yes.
And I acted amazingly. Like I didn't even know Colin Farrell was in this film, and like the way he portrays Mr. Banks,
was very good.
It's glorious. Like it's heart wrenching. Like it is. This film is genuinely heart wrenching. Like you feel feels. There's feels abound.
I nearly shed a tear.
But yeah, and it's a glorious ride, and like it really helps that the film, like, if you haven't seen Mary Poppins, you're not going to get the full experience. You're really not. Like, you need to see Mary Poppins before seeing Saving Mr. Banks. I mean, who hasn't seen Mary Poppins? Please get a soul and be a happy person, because you're a sorry excuse for a human being. Because really, who hasn't seen Mary Poppins?
It's one of those films that it's probably played every single Christmas that you would have at least watched once. Same with Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Another film that's played every single Christmas, you would definitely have probably seen it.
But my word, this film was a love letter, and This was a 5-star film, easily, in my book. Like, I can't think of a more deserving 5-star film than this for a while. Like, it's one of my favourite films of the year.
Oh, is it?
Easily. It doesn't quite beat Rush in my book.
No, Rush was amazing. I loved Rush.
My word, everything is acted the hell out of. The only criticism I can levy at this is at times it feels a little bit biased towards the pro-Disney angle.
Yeah.
But, like, even then, like, Disney is portrayed as Disney portrays himself to the public. Like, so it makes a lot of sense. And it doesn't make a lot of sense for this film to go into too much into the behind the makings of, like, what Disney was and how anti-Semitic he was. Because he was. But, like, you know, they mention the smoking thing, and, like, it's, like, they don't deify him too much. Like, he's deified little, but to be fair, the man was a living legend. He really was. The man had his own goddamn theme park. Who has their own goddamn theme park these days?
Which is still...
No one. No one has their own theme park.
Which is
Disney did.
Yeah, which is still today, and is also in other parts of the world as well.
Yeah, I know. Like, of all the people to deify, it makes sense, and this was made by Disney, so I can excuse it for the bias because it's completely accepted.
Yeah. It's like
And
they make their documentaries that's very biased towards
For some
well,
people, it's going to be a deal breaker. But for me, the film isn't about Disney. It's about Travers, and it's a very accurate depiction of her, as far as I'm aware of her story and having read a little bit about her after watching this film. But yeah, like, it's great. I really love it. I highly recommend it to all of you. If you get a chance to see this, and if you love just films in general, because this is a film about films, for sure. Yeah. Like, if you love cinema, this is for you.
Yeah, and they each deservedly, Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks has definitely deserved to at least be nominated for Oscar because they
Colin Farrell, I would say too. But like, maybe not Tom Hanks so much. Like, he's very good. He's really good. But you know, Tom Hanks is just good. Like, give him the Oscar for Captain Phillips because he was genuinely great in that.
But then again, Tom Hanks is every film I've seen him in, he's amazing. So
he always plays the hell out of it. Yeah. So you said, did you have something spoilery to discuss about Jasmine'S Banks? Because I pretty much said all I want to say.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, spoilers.
Just basically the bit with the whole story about how the book was actually based off the nanny saving her dad, and that's why they wanted to change the film, and they didn't want Mr. Banks to seem this really horrible person, and able to show how actually she isn't really horrible. She's just stubborn because she wants the film to show her father in a good light, and it's actually written for the father and that kind of thing. Really.
Yeah, and then you have the whole, like, he fixes the kite scene, which is lovely.
And then you got the bit where Walt Disney's talking to her to persuade her to give the rights, and it tells you the story about how his dad was quite abusive towards him, which kind of makes you feel more badly for him, and then it's able to make you feel at the beginning of the film, and when you see the story about how her mum nearly drowned herself and the dad was an alcoholic, why you kind of see why she's a bit quite stubborn and quite in a little shell and doesn't really connect to anyone, and then when she's able to connect to that Peter Giamatti, what I thought was really nice, the way it's like she was the only American apparently that she liked, and she's like saying, you know, his daughter was disabled. It's like, here you go, this and this, she can be wherever she wants to be.
Yeah, it's a nice way to anchor you emotionally. It's very well done, expertly crafted film. Right.
Very well done.
So moving on from a historical lesson about an old Disney film to Disney's most hip happening current offering.
Yeah,
Frozen. So, Mark, what did you think of the Frozens?
I thought Frozen was a very, very good film. I wouldn't say it's my top Disney films. That's still
God, no.
But I thought the singing was very good. The story was really good, and I also liked the fact as well. Even though it wasn't really much of damsel in distress, the hero was a female, so I like the whole. They're kind of more showing female empowerment, which I kind of like. Well, you know, a lot of the time it's usually damsel in distress, and the man gets to save. And this one, I liked that the new kind of dynamic, and I thought the characters were quite good. I thought Elsa was really cool. And I like the fact there wasn't really a main baddie because I can't mention spoilers. But I thought that was quite, you know, clever and that kind of thing, and thought it was a very, very good film. The singing was very good. I thought Elsa's song that Mikey put on the Facebook, I can't remember what the song's called, where she's like going into the palace.
Let It Go.
Let It Go. I thought
Yeah.
that was amazing, and I like the fact as well. Rather than using a young woman, they used like a more of an older Broadway star to be the voice of Elsa. Kristen Bell thought was quite good as Anna. Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought Kristoff was quite good, and I thought Olaf. I didn't like Olaf as much as I liked Timon and Pumbaa and that sort of thing, but he was still quite good comedy filler for the kids and like the people who want to see it as well. But yeah, I thought it was alright. Wasn't the best Disney film I've seen, but I thoroughly enjoyed it though.
Yeah, for me, like, this was a return to form for Disney. Like, for the longest time, like, you've had films like Bolt, and you've had films like Tangled, and like films that are decent. Like, these aren't bad films at all, but
No.
they're okay. You know, they're enjoyable. They have moments. Like, I actually have a little bit of a soft spot for Bolt. There were good moments in that. Tangled, I haven't really paid much attention to. Like, I've seen
Never saw
bits.
Tangled.
I've seen drips and drabs, and like it's never really grabbed me. I've never thought like, that's a film I need to go see. Like, that song really gets me wanting to watch that film. No, that's not how that works. But yeah, like, Wreck-It Ralph was a great direction, but it still felt very Pixar. It still felt very much like, well, while it was a very Disney vehicle, it felt, you could feel the strings of John Lasseter just hovering above it, just pulling little instruments. And I like that because John Lasseter's a genius.
Yeah.
But like, it didn't feel very Disney, you know. You could have seen that be a DreamWorks production, possibly. It would have been a bit worse, but you could have imagined it.
Yeah, I can see that because it's not like Disney's known for their musicals, their
Yeah,
big like
exactly.
song numbers and that kind of
It
thing.
didn't
So.
feel like a Disney film at all. This, however, this feels like your classic Disney princess film. This is like, this is a step forward. Like a lot of people have been panning this because it didn't take as much risks as they'd like, and I agree with you. This film plays it a bit too safe with a lot of things. Like, they added a male character in, they added your typical comic relief character in. They played it a bit safe. You know?
Yeah.
They dialed it back a little, and that makes sense because guess what? Disney's a business.
They want to make as much money as they can.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what they've just bought in the last several years: Marvel, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. You know?
So I can understand why they're doing that. The good thing is though, is that they are taking some risks. They're not being, but by having the film be mostly about just two sisters and that relationship, that is something we should support and not something that we should just throw under the bridge for not being risky enough.
Yeah.
Disney are going to, like, this is not an eggshell. This is not something that we can just take a little dinky hammer to and crack and there we go. Disney are suddenly equal opportunities for everyone. Woo! It takes a little while. It takes like Princess and the Frog was a nice step in the right direction. It wasn't great. It was okay. But it was a good step in the right direction for race equality, at least. Partly. There was some parts of that film that were pretty dodge. Oh god, voodoo, But yeah, this is a step in the right direction in a lot of ways. Like, production-wise, like, this film is really pretty. Like, I love the visuals of this film. Really nice. A lot of people have been complaining about the princesses' designs, that they're all, like, waspy and they're all very curvy and they've got two big eyes and it's like,
aren't all most of the Disney
princesses
got big eyes and quite curvy anyway?
I refer you to every other Disney princess that has been made because they all are waspy. They all have really big eyes. I mean, like Jasmine's eyes are huge.
Yeah.
Jesus, Jasmine has massive eyes. Like, she puts anime girls to shame sometimes. And like Jasmine's hips, Jesus, like that's a proper hourglass. So this isn't that bad when you look at the bars.
No.
And you don't hear people complaining about how freaking Beauty and the Beast. Oh, her eyes are too big and her waist is too small. No, you don't hear that. So I feel that's a bit of an invalid point.
Yeah.
It would be nicer if Disney started like branching out and having some actual characters that were a bit more normal proportions, but again, little steps. We have to support Disney in this. They're an old guy, but yeah, this film is great. Like,
definitely was great.
The music is lovely. The casting is wonderful. Let It Go is one of my favorite Disney songs like full stop. Like I can easily place that somewhere in my top 15.
Yeah, that song
Like,
was amazing. Just that song alone for that film, even without the other songs, that song would have been amazing just by itself.
Yeah, and just like the animation, like the whole scene, like taking that song out of that scene doesn't make it as interesting for me. But when it's in the context of that film, like they actually change the way the song sounds as well. Like instead of it being a bit too poppy, like the one in the credits is a little bit too poppy for my taste, but the one in the actual film is wonderful, and it's such a great scene, and it's expressive, and it immediately cements you in the character's transformation. It's wonderful. Yeah. So this film is good. See it for sure. If you like Disney, definitely. If you like proper Disney princess films, then you're gonna like this. Like the villain's nice. A few like surprising little twists in there just to throw a little wrench in your system. Olaf is actually not too terrible. The biggest failure of this film is the marketing. Jesus Christ. The way they marketed this like a DreamWorks film with like, oh look, wacky characters doing wacky things, haha. And like how it's like, oh look, there's a guy and there's a girl and maybe there's something going on there. And there's an evil princess who's turning into a witch. It's like the Ice Queen. And by calling it Frozen instead of like, you know, the Ice Queen or the Snow Queen, it's like, whoever Disney, get a new marketing department because that's not working. Like you could sell so much more of this film if you had marketed it proper. But
at the same time, even with the Walt Disney name, people see it because it's got
the name's good, the brand's fine, but the marketing needs better work. Yeah. But yeah, like for me, this is a 4-star film. I came out of this film pumped. I really enjoyed it.
I'll probably see the same thing as well. I'll probably give it a 4-star film. Yeah. I like the way it empowered women, and it wasn't just they were all just under the stress. And I felt, as you just said, they should have made it more to do with actually she wasn't the bad guy. She was just misunderstood, and it's just her let it going and like finally.
Yeah, that's exactly what they portrayed. You know. Yeah. But yeah, so spoiler territory. There are 2 good twists here. I really like the twist between I think it's Hans was his name, was it?
Yeah.
Like Hans he starts off as this very much like oh, love at first sight. Oh how glorious. I'm a noble and just prince here to hand you marriage. Oh, my brothers never liked me. Oh, I was invisible to them. Oh, and then like the whole like slow portrayal into the ambitious politicking of the youngest sibling to try and grab his own slice of the kingdom. Like that was really nice. Like that was unexpected. Like, I wasn't expecting Disney to go into feudal politics. That's not where I was thinking that they were going with this. Like, you know, there are hints, but like, it was really nicely done. It was a really nicely executed twist, and he's a really solid villain.
Yeah,
I really like him. So that was great, but that's not the best thing about this. The best twist is, as I said, there was that unfortunate addition of a male character where it didn't really need to be, and you have this scene at the end where Anna is dying slowly of this horrid infliction that she has upon her, this evil curse, and you have Sven. Was it Sven, or was that the reindeer?
Christoph.
Christoph. Sven's the
reindeer.
reindeer. Yeah, jeez, the reindeer's name's more memorable. Jesus. Christoph is like dashing towards her to try and save her, so that they can finally have the true love thing that breaks the curse, and you know that. They're both stumbling and they never quite make it. And then you have the brilliant moment where it's not the true love between a man and a woman that saves her. It's the true love of 2 sisters that save each other through the selfless act of her literally going in and taking the sword strike. And that was a really powerful image.
Yeah.
Like that image is really burned into my skull of just one man trying to slice another woman cowering, and then another woman just going, no, bitch! It's like, it was great. Like, that was really good. Yeah. That is a message that we should be supporting.
I was going to mention that as well, how I like the fact that it isn't just most Disney films, it's the prince, it's actually the queen who saves her sister. I really like that bit. I thought it was really good.
It was really nice. Like, finally we have a Disney princess film that isn't just about, you know, oh, you're a boy, I'll have sex with you. Because that's what Aladdin was. Jesus, Aladdin, when you think about it, is just Jasmine going, I'm bored. Oh, you're pretty. Like, Jesus, like...
I thought Hercules, I thought Meg was a really good
like
princess.
Meg is like the most realistic like romance we see in a Disney film. Like that, like I really like the song "I Won't Say I'm in Love." I really like that song.
Yeah,
that song is great. Because that song is like one of the most realistic interpretations of what it's actually like to be in love. Because you're just like, no, shut up, black statue choir ladies. That's not the realistic part. I'm not in love. You guys are all crazy. I don't care if he's handsome or if he's perfectly chiseled or whether he's dreamy and nice and... Shut up! It's not love.
And I also love as well with Frozen, like, rather than like Kristoff punching Hans in the face, I thought it was quite awesome that it was Anna who punched him in the face. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's similar to that feeling of Hermione punching Draco in Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
I love that scene. I love that scene where Hermione just... Oh! It's like, yes! Take it to the bastard! But yeah, it's good. I loved it. Like, this is a film that made me feel good. And, how much do I love Let It Go? I love that song so much. And just the little animation at the end, where she says, and the cold doesn't bother me anyway. She just slyly just like flicks her shoulders and flies off and goes, give me more. Give me more of that. Love it.
And I thought it was awkward because you know how they usually with most of these pieces like give it to like quite older people, like Kristen Bell was the voice of Anna. I like the fact they gave it to someone who was a lot more older, a lot more known for like Broadway. So I thought.
What's her name? Mendez? I think it's Mendez. I can't remember her name.
She's the mother of Rachel in Glee.
Yeah. And she's also.
It was in Uncharted.
She plays the girl, the Wicked Witch of the West in Wicked, and like that, like one of my favorite Broadway songs is fucking Defying Gravity. I love that song. I put my hands up in the air and say, hey, I love musicals, shut up. Defying Gravity is a bitchin' song.
I'm the same as you, I love musicals as well.
But yeah, so the fact that, like, again, like, she now has another one of my favourite songs from a musical. She's just fucking nailing that shot. But yeah, it's great. I like this film. Good. I highly recommend it to you people. It's good films. Disney is doing good shit. Between this kind of shit and Marvel, Disney pretty much own me.
Mm-hmm.
And Pixar. Disney own my life. Just fine. Just take this, Disney. Take this.
Take it
fine.
smart.
It's fine. Just take it. I don't need it anymore. These guys pretty much have it already.
Damn. Anyway,
Disney
guys,
owned me.
That's GEEKAMANIA. That's Ben.
It's Mark.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.